The iOS 27 public beta just went live, which means you no longer need a developer account to actually try any of the new stuff. So anyone with a compatible iPhone can sign up at beta.apple.com for free, flip on beta updates in the settings, and you'll be running it after it downloads and installs. So quick reminder before you do that though, this is still beta software. So I'd put it on a backup device if you can, or expect a few rough edges. Although I will have to say, it has been a tremendously stable beta, in my opinion. Now, with that out of the way, here are 10 things worth trying out once you do decide to get this installed. I'm going to spend most of this on my iPhone before sprinkling in a couple of iPad-specific ones at the end, since there's a lot of feature parity between the two operating systems. But first up, and honestly, the one you might go for first, aside from Siri, would be the liquid glass slider. Apple took the translucency everyone argued about last year and now gave you a full slider/dial for it in the settings menu. You can push it from nearly completely clear to mostly solid and land anywhere in between, whichever makes your eyes the happiest. It is a quick 30-second change that'll make things feel a lot different depending on where you land with liquid glass, so feel free to check that out right out of the gate. And then the next one is the big one, and that's Siri AI. But I want to set expectations before you go looking for it. This is the fully rebuilt Apple Intelligence-powered Siri, and it is the headline of the entire release. The whole idea is that it now works across a few layers at once. It understands your personal context, it can pull from broader world knowledge on the web, it can take real actions inside of your apps, and it's aware of what it's actually doing on your screen. There is also a dedicated Siri app now, so your conversations live in one place, follow you from your iPhone to your iPad to your Mac, etc. The catch is that it is going to probably take a minute. There was a wait list for the initial beta. There might be a wait list for this, and it's going to take some time for your phone to fully index. And it needs to do that in order to be able to go through your messages and your mail and pull up all of that personal context. But once you do get access, try it out with something that leans on your own stuff, like asking Siri to pull up a photo of where you might have parked, for example, or finding a detail buried in a text thread, or turning an email into something that has a date and place into a calendar event without leaving the message or the app that you're in. One more thing to keep in mind, Apple is rolling this out again in beta, but in English first, and it's not launching in the EU at start. I did a full breakdown of how Siri actually works in a completely separate video, so I'm not going to completely retread on everything. You can go ahead and check it out if you want to, but I would hurry up and turn it on and get it going and let your phone fully index before you start trying out features. Number 3, stays in the Siri territory, and it's something that you can play with immediately if you have the right phone. Apple added controls for Siri's voice, so you can adjust the pace it speaks at and how expressive it sounds. So if the assistant has always felt like it talks too fast or too flat for you, you can now actually dial it in, and instead of just living in that default setting, you can go ahead and make it super expressive, but really slow, or super fast, but very monotone and flat. The choice is yours. Heads up though, this one leans on the newest models for phones. It just apparently needs that Pro chip, so you need the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max and the iPhone Air.
Hi, let's find the right voice for you. I'll practice some things I like to say while you listen. Let me try this one out. Here's another one. Your timer is set for 1 minute. Now for some directions. At the next stop sign, turn right. How about some facts? Otters have been known to hold hands while your timer is set for 1 minute. Now for some here's another one. Your timer is set for 1 minute.
Number 4 is Image Playground, which got a real overhaul this year. If you wrote it off last time because the results felt stiff or just nothing to look at or like worth looking at, because the quality did take a big step, I would say this is probably one of the best new features. Open it up, throw a prompt at it, and see what it does now. It might surprise you. It's one of the more fun features to just kind of sit around and play with for a few minutes. And it's a good way to actually see where Apple's image generation has actually stacked up to the other platforms. Another thing worth knowing here, if you pay for a higher iCloud Plus tier, you get bumped up daily usage limits on the image generation, so you can create more before it might cap you for the day. Number 5 is the natural language stuff in reminders and calendar. You can type out a reminder the way you would say it out loud, something like, go get groceries at 6 p.m. tonight, and it pulls out the time and drops it in for you. In reminders, it will grab the date and the time and even a location if you mention one. So a lot of the time you can just type the whole thing on one line and be done. Calendar does a version of this too, though it is a little less hands-off. It handles the time automatically, but it defaults to whatever date that you are currently in. So in order to send an invite to a specific day, you will still need to tap the date suggestion that pops up above the keyboard, but at least it knows that. I went deep in exactly how all of these things will behave on calendar and reminders. So again, you can check that video out if you'd like to. Number 6 is one of those tiny quality of life fixes that you will definitely appreciate more than you think. You can now set a separate volume for your alarms independent of your ringer. So if you turn your ringer way down at night, or you keep it low during the day so notifications are not blasting, your alarm no longer gets dragged down with it. Before this, plenty of people would turn their ringer down when they sleep and then sleep right through the alarm that got quiet along with everything else. So all you do now is just set the alarm volume once in your sound settings, and it's that volume the rest of the time, and it won't change no matter what you do with the rest of the volume settings. Number 7 is tab organization in Safari. Apple cleaned up how tabs are grouped and sorted, which mostly matters if you're the type of person who has 4,000 tabs open at all times and you can never find the one you actually want. It's worth poking around in Safari to see how the new layout handles your mess and whether it makes your tabs quicker to get back to. It starts to organize them in different categories and sections so that you're just not scrolling through an endless amount of tabs. Number 8 is our last iPhone-specific one, and that's star ratings and photos. You can now rate your shots with stars, which sounds basic, but might actually be useful if you take a lot of photos and want a faster way to flag your keepers. Instead of building out a bunch of albums, you just rate the ones as you go, and then you have a quick way to pull up your best stuff later. It's especially handy if you fire off a burst of the same shot and want to mark one that actually came out well, and then go ahead and revisit it later. Just go ahead and long press on a photo and give it a rating, and it's super quick. Now, let me switch over to some iPad ones here real quick because iPadOS 27 shares most of what I just covered, but there are a couple of things built specifically for that hardware that are worth trying. So number 9 is visual intelligence, and specifically you can use the Apple Pencil too. On the iPhone, this is a tap, but the iPad, you can take a screenshot and then circle the thing you are curious about with your pencil to ask Siri about it for, more information. It works on basically anything on the screen, so you can circle a product, a landmark, a plant, an item, anything, and have Siri identify it or pull up more information on it. The reason why this matters on iPad specifically is that circling with the pencil just kind of fits the way you would already be kind of working with the iPad. So if you have it in your hand, you don't need to set it down and circle it around. It's just going to be a little bit more fine-tuned and easier to navigate with that pencil. Of course, you could just use your finger if you want, or you can tap on whatever you are thinking about getting more information from. But just having visual intelligence on the iPad is going to be super handy. And number 10 is the Handwritten Notes feature, which is the only one I would try first if you live inside of your Notes app on your iPad. Siri can now take action on your notes, whether they are typed or now handwritten. So now it'll actually read your handwriting instead of treating it like a drawing. That means you can take a page of messy handwritten lecture notes, for example, and have it turn them into a clean, structured study guide, or take a pile of scattered bullet points and have it lay them out as a formatted agenda. If you take notes by hand, this is the feature that you might genuinely want to use because it could change your entire workflow. So that is it. Those are 10 things that I would try right away. Of course, there are tons of other features. I have a bunch of other videos and there's tons of articles on MacRumors.com. So please be sure to check everything out and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more of our coverage. This is Matt with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.